Are we live? People, deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Good morning to those of you over here in the UK. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night, depending on whatever time zone you're in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button on your way in. Please make sure you're checking the pin message because there's 3 live streams from myself today. We'll be focusing on Arsenal, and then obviously I'm doing a watch along for Scotland versus the Czech Republic, and then I believe after that is Spain versus Sweden. So there's something for everyone. I was going to do the Poland-Slovakia one as well, people, but I know the work rate's crazy, but I'm not a machine, man. Obviously, there isn't too much to talk about from a transfer perspective with Arsenal, but there is a couple of talking points, so I'm going to go over it and things like that. Like my guy Twister has said, run up the likes each and every time. Let's get in the habit of doing such, man. Every like means YouTube is more likely to be nice to the guy, and the algorithm is going to play in my favor, and the DG brand is going to get out there, and the DG nation is going to keep growing. But we keep going, people. We're at 17 likes already, so we're off to a great start, man. Hit the like button. Good morning, TP. I appreciate you. Hey, you're Mr. Scout, man. I need to hear your think pieces on the Czech Republic, on Scotland, and every other Europa League game, Euro 2020 Championship game. I apologize, because you were spot on with Ukraine. You were spot on. Oh, you got your wish, man. You know, so Scotland watch along affair today. Obviously, it's Kieran T in the FC. Hopefully, he can get one over. You know, obviously, that guy who was part of the whole Glenn Kamara stuff is in the Czech Republic squad. You've got, you got West Ham's not Kafal. What's it? Souček backing him up. So I really want Scotland to do a number on the Czech Republic. I want them to absolutely batter them. Hopefully, Che Adams can play some moments and actually score. We're going to get into VINAI, and it seems like Stylish you isn't here for any of it. He said, man are coming out now trying to save themselves. I agree with you, Stylish, still. Peter has said, early stream, you love to see it, hit the like button. I appreciate that. CFC's finest, I appreciate you because you got nothing to do with Arsenal, but you like good content, man. And, a bit jealous of your display picture, Mason Mount and Kai Havertz with the Champions League. It must be nice, my guy, but I appreciate your support, man, just like everybody else's, man. I hope you're doing well and safe. Let's not forget it's Monday, people. So I hope you all had a lot. Last week was a week to remember. If not, write your goals down and let's attack this week, man. By Friday, I want to hear you lot have moved that much closer to your dreams, goals, and aspirations, man. So it is what it is in that regards, man. Try catch man out. Penfolder just out here saying, people deluded. Please don't spam again. Whoa, it's early in the morning and the spammers are out here already, man. Fucking hell. Anyways, we move, man. The best left back in the world is playing, and so is Robertson. To be fair, I'm a fan of Robertson still. I can't lie. I think Robertson's a good player. We'll get into the transfer stuff in around the 5-minute mark, people. But in fact, before that, I lied, man. Let's go over this. I saw a piece on goal.com about Zaha to Arsenal. People, we might as well just humour ourselves with it. Now, I know a lot of you, bro, man, look at you. Man said, don't worry, DG, the Champions League will soon come for you. Hey, we got to deal with qualifying for it first, my guy. Then we'll talk about potentially winning it. In my head, we won it in 06. Like, I wish the 2006 Champions League, it was like Football Manager where you could restart it, because absolutely cheated by Barcelona in that game. But we moved. So, yeah, man, I want to humour you guys. I don't want to keep banging on this drum and this dead horse. Whether Zaha gets a move, I don't know what he's going to do. For me, he needs to be eyeing up Everton and Villa. I'll be trying to go to Villa if I was him, because it don't look like the top 6 teams or teams that are typically part of the top six are going to be in for you. But we've heard Zaha say he wants a move. And apparently this editor said, would Wilfred Zaha be a good signing for Arsenal? Better yet, would the Crystal Palace star be a good signing for Arsenal? Let's see what's going on, people. Please be an actual think piece. Oh, this is just people voting. I would take Zaha for what it's worth, man, but he's going to cost an arm and a leg. And it's, if we're going to spend an arm or a leg, I think it should be at right back or central midfield, man. So, yeah, man, it's a bit of an underkill in that regards, Don't know what's that's being said. It didn't say anything really in relation to Zaha, if we're completely honest with you, it's asking for fans of opinion. So we're just going to get into the normal transfer business. But before that, Samuel said, what do you think of the Coutinho links? Would you take him back? We never had him in the first place, but I understand what you mean. I mean, beggars can't be choosers. I would take Coutinho for certain conditions, but in terms of the wages and everything else, you know, it's probably not the best of ideas for Arsenal. And again, there's no resale value. There's not really longevity. He's just here for the now. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's a quality player. But again, we need to, you know, could we get someone where we're going to get more of a tune out? I don't know. We're 2 years too late for Zaha. So Ebby is saying that boat has sailed and it's a myth. Kay is saying these transfer rumors are getting funny. Wait till we're linked with Ozil again. You know, probably will be linked with Mesut Ozil once again. Make sure you've hit that like button, people. It wouldn't surprise me, you know. Looking at the links, bro, we're going to have the best of teams next year. You know, we're going to have Aaron Ramsey, you know, Aouar, DePaul, Coutinho. Who else, man? There's bare sick guys are coming in and whatnot, man. But it is what it is. But the first thing I actually wanted to speak about, Arsenal have not been linked with Denzel Dumfries, or at least they haven't been linked of recent. But obviously, I don't want to be too reactionary going off the last game, people. But if you watch the Holland game, I'm not going to lie. You know, my opinions on Denzel Dumfries, if I'm completely honest with you, I do think he's got a mistake in him. I do think he can be error prone. But that being said, he probably, you're bossing the Euros, or if the first game's anything to go behind, then your price tag's going to go up. But 25 years of age, contracted until 2023. Again, we've been linked and we've looked at him before. Surely we should make a move based on how that, you know, just to humor you guys, based on the last game Holland played against Ukraine. Again, he does have errors. He's not he's not amazing, but I do feel he's the modern day fullback. I do think he's fairly good 1v1. I think he does get forward. You know, he's probably he's unfortunate probably. You know, I'd say he was probably man of the match for me. He's Holland's man of the match yesterday. But you know, you could have said Wijnaldum, you could have said Depay. There's a few others as well. I like him going forward. Like I said, I do have problems about his concentration. I do think he has an error in him, but unless we're going to sign somebody and really make it, he surely is someone. Apparently Everton are having a look. They've been linked before. As I said, while we haven't been linked today, we've been linked prior. So I wonder if Arsenal are sitting there and thinking, let's go back in it, because, you know, based on the Holland game, Depay, well, to be fair, I watched Copa America. Brazil were quite good, but, you know, Depay and Denzel Dumfries, they're the only ones I could say, yeah, you've put in a performance where, you know, you might play yourself into a move. None of the games right now have you seen somebody really play for a move. And, you know, if we offer, it could be done. And at 25 years of age, there is scope to develop. And for what it's worth, you know, you've got him at 25, Tierney now 25. In theory, Gabriel and Saliba, sorry, early 20s. You know, Onana, if he comes in, that's 24. That should be a back five, including the keeper, that could be here for a while, that we could build upon and improve. And obviously, if you tie in the midfield into that, we have half a decent squad. But I don't know if we're going to go in for him, man. What would you lot think of Denzel Dumfries? Like I said, the main point of that was just basically off the back of the last game. Like I said, I think he's good. I think he's good going forward. I think he's very much the modern day fullback. I think he's okay 1v1 defensively. I do think he's susceptible to switching off, and I do think he would need a lot of work in that regards. But he's a decent player for what it's worth, man. But I just thought maybe that's something that a lot of you are probably talking about. We've been linked with it before, man. I apologize, man. Dumfries. I hope you're not capping, you know. Just call him Denzel, man. I mean, no disrespect by any mispronunciations, man. Hopefully you're telling the truth, you know. I have to be wary because some of you like to move mad and say things, and then next thing you know, you've said ICUP or some madness like that, and then you know how it is, man. The virgins go crazy. But yeah, man, I would take him for what it's worth, but it's not gonna happen, man. And you're Dutch, so you know about him more than me. From what I've seen of him, like I said, I like him, but he does come with errors and things. Still think Everton will sign him because Marcel Brands, he brought him to PSV back in the day as well. Maybe, man, maybe. I'm gonna take you lot. Dumfries then. All right, cool. I'm gonna take you lot's word for it. Free Donny's also Dutch and he can verify it, you know, so it's all cool, man. Big up DG. Like button has been hit as usual. Bro Pro 98, thank you, because that's all I asked for, and I really appreciate you, man. I appreciate everybody starting to come in, you know. S is in the building. Peter's locked in. Aaron's there. M, I see you. You know, you always appreciate it. Just waiting on AM now. He's probably sleeping. Really. YG, I see you as well, man. So, yeah, man. I don't think we're getting the fries, but I would like to see a right back. Emerson Royal from Betis could be a better option at right back. But what Barcelona doing with him? Because is he staying? Then 1 minute he's linked with Inter. What's going on with him? You know, again, if there's some clarity around what's going on, I would love that. Broski, You know, I just want to be able to talk about Arsenal having a right back. I just feel there's been too much conversation, too much debate for years about a right back. Even in the squad now, I like Chambers, I like Maitland. I don't think Cedric is bad, and I don't know why he's been rubbed out. But there's too many different players and nobody's locked it down. There's not a player I can confidently say 38 games, you're moving levels. I know the others are going to go through good bits of form and whatnot, but you know, you get where I'm going with that. So I just want to write back. Shout out the Twitch gang. Big up yourselves as well. Make sure you're following on Twitch, people, if you do want notifications. Deluded Gooner 187. Emerson to Barcelona, done and dusted. Allegedly, yeah, but they're trying to sell him, apparently. Coutinho for 17 million, allegedly. I mean, when you look at it like that, it's cheap. But how old is Coutinho now, man? You know, you're going to have to give him a decent wage. You're going to have to give him a decent length. You know, there's going to be a hefty signing on fee for him. You know, his agent's going to pick up a decent check. You know, there's probably all other little hidden fees. Obviously, Barcelona are in no position to command anything near to what they paid Liverpool initially for him. So we could get him. And like I said, it's not an ability thing. On ability, just the basics of doing the business on the football field. I think Coutinho's a good player. I think Coutinho's one of those players. He needs a bit of love. Obviously, it's not really worked out for him. Somehow he's managed to pick up a Champions League. I just think he needs love. He needs to feel important at Barcelona. If your name's not Lionel Messi, you're not going to get that, really and truly. And he's 29 years of age, just turned 29 2 days ago. So again, if I'm him, I wouldn't Arsenal. I wouldn't sanction it. But at 29, knowing how Arsenal are moving and how Arsenal are behaving, I can't sit here and lie to you. I'd be trying to get a 5-year deal. I would be trying to get a 5, at least a 4. For Arsenal, you can't be thingy, man. I wouldn't be trying to give more than a 2-year deal with an option of a 3rd, really and truly. You can't make the same mistake with Willian. And for me, longevity. Because as much as I like Coutinho, and 29, it's not old, really. It all depends how you look after yourself. It's different. But look at Fernandinho. My point being, for me, it's just short-term thinking. And it's like, you know, when you put off tasks, whether it's education, work, you know, household tasks, you know, when you put things off, whether it's a deadline, you know, when you keep putting things off and ignoring it, and it's fine at first, but then when you actually need to address it, it's a massive elephant in the room. Do you get? And I think you run the risk with that, because we ain't learned our lessons, for me, from Koscielny. You know, we over relied on a 34-year Koscielny to the point where the man said, I'm not signing a deal because you man are just playing me too much and my body can't handle it. You know, David Luiz, I think the club have really, this season, they have to really avoided grabbing a centre half, you know, because David Luiz and people like that, they can be in the squad if you want, but they shouldn't be your main guys. So when you look at it, still at this moment in time, not replace David Luiz. I can talk about Gabriel, Saliba, this guy, that guy, to the to blue in the face people. And last time I checked, my skin color would be here all day. But we haven't addressed it. Aubameyang, the minute he signed a new deal, yeah, I know he's not hitting them in, but last season he was, well, the season before, we should be looking for a striker, regardless of how good or bad Aubameyang's doing. So you've got to replace that. Then you're going to throw in Coutinho, who's 29. You know, you'd have to, in a couple of years, look at addressing the spine again. I like him, though, man. Obviously, I see some of you saying, hey, DG, I'm 29. Allow me. This is a footballing perspective. Like I said, from a footballing perspective, he's still young. But Arsenal, we allegedly have to watch our pounds that much better. So we need longevity. You know, we need leaders. You need experience to carry. I don't want to call them young men, but carry the young men, the Smith Rowes, the Sackers, and all of these things. So I'd be all on Coutinho. Age or not, the man's a baller, in it. That's why I'm on him. But at the same time, just because of the outlay and also Arteta as well, because as stupid as it sounds, yeah, better players make us play, but I haven't seen nothing from specifically an attacking point of view to suggest you get to better players, we're going to attack better. So that's what I need to see in pre-season. If you're going to get Coutinho, I need to see the blueprint of what you're trying to do in an attacking sense, because I think Arteta, that's his biggest problem for me, because I think he's got a handbrake. You can sign Coutinho, and at 29, we're going to need to see a fast return, and I don't think we're going to necessarily get that. So I don't think it's going to happen. What, hasn't he got the same agent who's basically in bed with Arsenal and whatnot? That's where the bulk of the links are coming from. But yeah, I can't see it. On ability, of course, I would take Coutinho, but all variables considered, you ideally want to get someone younger. I'm for it though, in principle, because you've got Coutinho 29, Smith Rowe there. Smith Rowe, the pressure is kind of taking off him to be the creative burden, because suddenly I'm sticking it all on Coutinho. Then obviously Smith Rowe, I'm still looking for, he still needs to do what he's done last season. He set himself a good expectation, but I think he can thrive because as much as I like Saka and Smith Rowe and their key players, I don't like relying on these players who, testament to them, 2 or so years ago, where were they? They should be allowed scope to play poorly, develop and things. And I don't think they've been allowed that, you know, they've carried us really. And sometimes we haven't been able to take them out of the team and all of those sort of things. So I would take Coutinho for what it's worth. But all things considered, it's probably especially wise to just stay away. Please make sure you're hitting the like button and checking the pin message, folks, people, because again, it streams galore from myself. The work rate is crazy. Told you, man, by the end of the year, I'm really trying to get 50K, man. 50K subs. I need to find a way to accelerate growth, accelerate the algorithm, cause not that I watch other people to learn, and I'm seeing some YouTubers. I'm like, wow, how's the thing rising that quick? What do I need to do to get that car? That's the goal I want, people. It will make my day, man. It'll be a real sense of accomplishment. I need to get 50K by the end of 2021. And, you know, we're at the halfway point. It's actually scaring me shitless that I might not do it, people. But we keep going, we keep grinding, we keep trying. Make sure you're hitting the like button. And like I said, man, it's Sweden versus Spain, Spain versus Sweden. It's Scotland versus the Czech Republic for my watch-alongs today. Let me get these links because it makes it a bit easier. So yeah, people, it is what it is firmly in that regard. 50K is a nice target. Don't burn out though, DG. Never. That's why specifically I'm taking strategic breaks, man. Don't focus on the numbers, DG. Keep up the quality content and the numbers will come. So they keep saying, and I know that my guy Chase Goldman, but Chase Goldman trying to chase dreams. You know the ones there, you've set a goal. And I want it, man. It keeps me up at night. It's like I want it as much as I want Arsenal to want top 4. You know, I want it, man. Coutinho is injury prone. No, thank you. Bit harsh, you know, bit harsh. I'm biased to Brazilians, of course, but it's what it is. I've spoke about Correa yesterday. He's a good player. Allegedly, Arsenal bidded. Please check my last live stream for that. I don't really want to go over the same thing, man. Alan, I know it's you, man. I can tell by your DP, my guy, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the commitment over Twitch and YouTube, man. Hitting the like button on YouTube, and then obviously you prefer Twitch, so it is what it is. You said, I want to see Saliba in the first team game. I'm sick of the drama. Let him play. That alone is why Arteta needs to go, fam. Bit harsh, but I can't, you know, there's nothing else I can say. For what it's worth, I do think Saliba will get his chance next season, and it's down to him to take it. As I said, for me personally, new centre half Gabriel Saliba would be the three centre halves I'm primarily building around. I don't mind holding playing when the time comes. Might not be too much game time next season, but I don't mind that. Neither do I mind that with Chambers or Marie. But again, decisions have to be made because there's only about 40 games next season, so something needs to be done. Bernard has said, good morning, DG. Have a blessed day. Right back at you and everyone listening, my dude, man. Carol Bailey said, I think you're talking about Coutinho. Oh, no, you're talking about the fries. Dumfries. A man said Dumfries. Bro, Denzel in it. I like him. I thought he had a good game last night. Arsenal should definitely have a look at him. 25, a very good age, and definitely room for improvement. I would take him. Trust me. I would take him, man. Ideally, I would like someone from God knows, you know, I things like right back. I just think you can find these under the radar sort of man if scouts are really doing their jobs, but I don't know, man. I really don't know. We're probably still gonna just have the same question marks over the same players, man. How would you compare Saliba's passing range to David Luiz? It's not off. You know, he's got a good range of passing. Where Saliba's at now is when to try that long pass, when to keep it basic, when to play out from the back. You know, things you'd expect a 20 or 19-year-old centre half to have. He's going to go through some tough moments, but he's going to come through out the other end. It's down to Arteta to have the faith to bust him, man. Dumfries, man. Dumfries. Yeah, keep reminding me, man. We're not going to stop until that becomes muscle memory, man. I'd rather have someone else younger, 100%, man. Coutinho would have to pass a medical first, and I doubt we'd afford his wages, bro. Never doubt the ability of Arsenal to find a lot of money to mismanage. Don't doubt it. The money would somehow be found. And for him, it'd be good, you know, if you want a comfortable retreat after winning the Champions League and doing what you're doing, come to Arsenal, innit? It is what it is, man. Lucas said, good morning, DG. Hope to see Tierney play well today. Also, would you take Van der Beek? Have a great day. Of course, I would take Van der Beek. We spoke about that yesterday, but it's not going to happen, is it, really and truly? I would take him. He's a technical footballer. Obviously, Bergkamp could tell him all about the club, but it's a myth, in it, really and truly. Beyond that, you know, it's not going to happen. Thoughts on Onana, the best goalkeeper I've seen in Eredivisie for a long while. I like him. I do like him. He's not my sort of keeper. I'm not really a fan of these new age keepers, you know, but I like him. Does have a mistake in him. Is prone to errors of madness. He is tall, but he does look short. So I don't know if it's the way he stands or his stature. He's deceivingly tall. I like his ability on the ball. I like his bravery. I like his shot stopping. If he could just stop the random moments of madness and find balance and be a tiny bit less eccentric, it is what it is. I like his mentality as well, man. And I think, you know, he's a young man, but he's been a leader with the Ajax sort of guys. You know, Saliba's done the same at St. Etienne and obviously Nice on loan. Gabriel's been a young man and young leader in the Leo side and to a degree here. Tierney's only 25, but again, playing for Celtic in the first team, you have to grow up quick. So he's of the same nature. You know, obviously, I think experience is literally, you know, the latter ends of your career, but experience can be gained because would we really say, obviously, Phil Foden is inexperienced, but you could argue Phil Foden's an experienced player. Saka's an experienced player now. There's different ways of finding experience, and I just feel them names I said, plus actually Smith Rowe and Saka, they can be like young bosses. Like these are the new leaders. Long gone are the days where, you know, you have the army lieutenant. My man's been here 50 years and he's the guy. You know, this is what the team could be, and a team should be a reflection of the manager. And what I hope that would reflect is, you know, young, fresh, innovative, renewed energy, ready to take on the massive task of what is helping Arsenal to turn to top four, man. But a team should always, in my opinion, reflect the manager. And it always does. No matter what, even if he's just walked in, of course, there's luxuries you can give him, but you know, a team always reflects a team should, and it 9 times out of 10 does. And I don't really know Arsenal's team reflects the club. Mix and matches, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, inconsistent, complacency, liability, performing when the pressure isn't on, all of those sort of things, really and truly. Some good opinions, people. Keep them coming. Keep all your comments coming. You lot make my day, man. Every time I think it's going to be a dead live stream, you lot come in and make sure it's not that, but make sure you're hitting the like button as well, people, because it's all fun and games. We're only at 85 likes, 200's the target. We need to keep pressing and pressing and pressing. SS said, big up Slavlan, because you're always here. Do you think Daniel Ek will submit a 3rd bid soon or not? I was surprised how soon he put up a 2nd bid. Well, you know, it's the art of war. So I don't know if I can tell you it's going to happen tomorrow, a month from now, 2 months from now, but you'd imagine it's coming. You'd imagine, you know, because as we spoke about, he knew he's probably going to need to make 10 bids or be talking for about 10 years before he has this club. You've got a man that doesn't want to sell something. So you have to eventually, obviously, negotiations. You just don't go in there with what you want. But I just think it comes down to, are you prepared to overpay or not? Because he doesn't want to sell. You have to make him an offer he can't refuse. You want to buy, you know, Arsenal right now, from a business point of view, might not be worth much to you. You know, it comes down to it. And there's a price. Everything in life has a price. I'm keen to see, do we go to a price where no matter what Daniel Eke said, he just said, you know what, it's not financially viable. We can't do that. You know, or at one price does Stan Kroenke sit there and say, boy, I can't turn that down. I can't say no to that. Only time will tell. But I don't have a clue, man. Let me make that a timestamp. I'd like to hope so. I hope so. You know, let me call it. I hope Daniel Ek bids a 3rd time. I hope he does, but they probably come on. Realistically, they didn't expect this, and they need to be prepared. They need to be prepared to keep it up. The same way with us fans, we need to keep the same energy, even if we was to do an invincible season and win the treble somehow, even though we're not in many comps. Keep it up. We need to make it abundantly clear and never let it be Never let there be an air of doubt that what we feel about the Cronkies. Obviously, if Cronky was to start investing and doing the many things we accuse him not to, then in all fairity, you have to cut a man some slack. But I just think we've been here too long, too many false pretenses, you know, give the club away. Who knows? Daniel Ek might be gassing himself, you know, he's a good businessman. Let's be honest, as much as he might want the club, when you're a good businessman, you know how to do things strategically. You look at all the times stuff has come out in the media or bids around what's been going on. That's strategic. You know, your language, you know how to entice people, you know how to gas them. He's Daniel Ek doesn't even own the club, but with what he's been saying with Henry and the legends and what he wants to do with Arsenal and fans having a say, it arouses your imagination. It makes you dream. This is what we want. But at the same time, even though I think he's going to follow through with that, I don't know him from nowhere. He could be wassing it. And fans, we're desperate to dream. We're desperate for something. We're tired of the devil we know. We want the devil we don't know. Whether that turns out to be an angel or not are two different things. But I hope he does, bro. But whether he does, I can't honestly tell you. You know, right now, I can't see it. At least, I can't see him buying it in the near future. Stefan, good morning. Right back at you, man. I will always keep up the hard work and things, man. Life blessings right back to you, man. Would you prefer Vanderson or Dumfries? Big up the Dutch people helping me. I've seen more of Dumfries, to be honest with you, Denzel. I've seen a lot more of him. I haven't seen too much of Vanderson, but I can't lie. You know me, Jinga, admittedly, Brazilian bias. I have a Brazilian bias, and from the little footage and little bits and pieces I've seen, I like him. I think the 19-year-old's raw with it. Obviously, he's got what 6 years, 6 years off Denzel, so he's gonna obviously be behind. I think he's raw with it. Something excites me. Maybe it's because he's Brazilian and I'm a right back as well, but I like him. Like I said, a lot of development, a lot of things to fix up with, but he's good going forward. He's electrifying. He's a modern day fullback. Just give me somebody in it. To be fair, Denzel probably, in my opinion, costs less. One's just signed a new deal. One's 19. Obviously, you know, you're going to see more. One's contracted for around 2 years. If we win the treble, I'm Kroenke in all day. You know what? We'd have to hold up our hands, but I'm still trying to get Donny out of here. I can't lie. Stanley's gonna want an unrealistic fee to let Arsenal go. Probably looking at the 3 billion mark, latter ends of the 2 point something billion. It's what it is. Lashana said Sabitzer, Tyler Adams, Kyle Walker Peters, Basuma, Awa. Out of that list, would love Awa, Basuma, Sabitzer. I don't mind Kyle Walker Peters. The same goes for Tyler Adams, man. Yeah, Leno's the same height. I'm just saying with Onana, he looks deceivingly short based on the way he stands and things. So maybe there's something to be done. The main problem with Onana is just the mad moments, man. Fuck your man with that nonsense, man. You can say the N-word in here if you let me put my chocolate in your mum. The fuck? Like that nonsense, man. No, I don't want Kofal. I don't think he's not good enough playing out from the back. He's kind of rubby, man. I'm Dutch and Dumfries is not good enough. Fair play. He is suspect defensively, incredibly suspect, man. I'm sick. And for us, I'm sick of Arsenal going for these cheap players. We need to spend some big money. To be fair to you, sometimes we spent cheap, you know, by in the grand scheme of things, Tini, 25 million, that's cheap. Gabriel, that's cheap. They've done a lot for us. Arguably, our more expensive signings, you know, I've been the ones that think your opinion. Pepe's a good player and he's coming into his own, but, you know, that divides opinion. Lacazette divides opinion. Xhaka has divided opinion, you know. Big money, not in necessarily in terms of a transfer fee, but in terms of the wages, Williams. So I get you, I sympathize with you, but good players are good players. I don't care if a man's bought for 50p or 55 billion pound, you know. Just make sure they're competent, confident, and consistent, and ultimately the best players for this club, which we haven't been able to say that, because for every Tierney and Gabriel and people like that, we've missed bare, man. You know, to be fair with you, I would rather Mazure, forgive me for mispronunciations, man. I would prefer him. You know, we was linked with him at the start of the window, where we not for 10 million. That's probably cheaper than Denzel. So I'd all be for that. I'd rather Mazure, to be fair with you. But I can't, again, I'm butchering his name. Dutch people, help me out again. But pardon me, I can't see it happening, man. We don't need any more centre-backs, just paper talk, to be honest. I think we need a centre-back. I think we sign a centre-back. I think there's something to be said in quality over quantity. And I just don't feel, you know, I just feel They don't need to be a world-class centre-half, but I just feel we've got to be wary of that, what we want in Gabriel and Saliba being that partnership. We've got to give them both a healthy scope to develop. And same way you see young players, you see how Saka 9 times out of 10 has been flying. I'm sure you saw towards the latter end of the season, there was a couple games he was kind of struggling. Them sort of things there are going to happen with these centre-halves. It's happened with Gabriel already. So for me, if we could get an ideal world, 25, 26 competent defender that I or you don't even know, that would be it for me, man. Ideal target, we can't afford him. I'd say Paul Torres of Villarreal. That would be it for me. But you ain't got the juice for that. We ain't got the juice for that, my guy. So, we have to deal with these whatever's in it. To be fair to you, I know he's got Champions League offers and things, but if you got 50 million for Ben White, well, you must be able to find that for Paul Torres. But that's just me, innit? 110 likes, people. 90 more likes and we've hit our target. Keep running that one up, please. I appreciate you guys. Van Aanholt would be good backup. Probably 29 years of age, but we might as well just use this time to find someone a bit younger that has scope to grow and eventually challenge Tierney, so that in 2 years when he's 31, we're not here saying this again. I know it's not always the same. Holding should be that player, but he needs to move on. I love Holding. I can't lie. I like him, man. I like Holding. I think he stays for me. He plays, man. The thing with Holding, in an ideal world, game time should be limited for you because Saliba and Gabriel, if they prove it, should be the guys, man. Pereira from West Brom over Coutinho. Ooh, on ability, no. Obviously, in terms of the outlay, I get what you mean, and it's not as mad as it might sound as a sentence. No Holding slander, trust me, Duck. What do you think of Neves? I like Neves still. I was a bit surprised by the backlash some Arsenal fans had when we were linked with him. Like, I'm sorry, but have you seen some of the duds we've got? Like, come on, man. Arsenal need to follow the Dortmund model of recruitment, to be honest. Find gems and sell for more. Bro, do you know what it is, yeah? Do you know what it is with that seat? I hear you, I agree with you. And it's the difference is Dortmund have clarity with what they're doing, because at one point we barely scrape 8 million or something for Gnabry, Benassi, all these guys. Them man there know what they're doing. They know you come here, you train for a couple of years, we sell you. Before they've even sold Jadon Sancho, the next Jadon Sancho they're looking at, before they sold Haaland, the next Haaland's there. As we've seen with Dembele, it's a bit different, but they grabbed Aubameyang and kind of they did increase his reputation in European football by quite a lot. Made money, It looks like Sancho's going to be the one. We all know Haaland is destined for a top European club. After them two is probably Jude Bellingham and maybe Gio Reyna. And, you've got Mikoko there. And who's the German? I should do a video on him. I don't know if he's levels, but they've been playing some German winger here and there last season. And he played in a couple youth gens. And probably saying this, there'll be a next one that they found. So it is what it is, man, But them man there, they know what they're doing. They're finding man in America. They're finding man in England. They're finding man in Germany at lesser clubs. We are not doing that because to do that, your scouting structure has to be amazing. Work on for our scouting structure. Because, if you're going to do that, it's not just one man doing all of that at Dortmund. They've got people around the world. They've got people they can trust in America, in South America, in France, in England, whatever. If they don't directly work for them, there's shoulders that they can lean on and stuff, and they can trust their opinion. And there's a clarity, there's clarity in what they want to do. There's a direct mandate for Arsenal or at Arsenal. The lines are too blurred. The lines are too blurred. We've been told we're doing this youngster thing. We're not selling our youngsters for decent money. We're bringing in past it players in a footballing sense. We're not actually busting the young players, too much to get it. So we could do it. We should do it. But we're already defeating ourselves before we can potentially beat Dortmund or Stuttgart or any of these teams. And also on top of that, the work permit factor would go against us. So if that's going against you, we need to make sure we're proactive, build relationships with other clubs. Remember when we used to bring in a couple African men and do a little couple bookie dealings in Belgium, and then, you would see Colo Toure and things like that. I'm all on that sort of stuff, but them things have changed. I don't know why we don't do it. We need to do what Dortmund's doing, man. Need follow EVB model. Where was we at in that regards, man? I'll say 25 34-10. Apologies, people. Shout out to everybody locked in, man. I would much rather have Neto than Neves. I think we need a central base player more than we need an actual winger, but fair play. I would too. I honestly don't get the holding slander. The bloke is so techie for a centre-back, solid defensively, just needs to improve long balls. Pause. I think what he needs to improve glaringly, Will, is like if a ball's coming in from, well, you can't see, but from that side of my room, and there's a runner, he can look at the ball, but I don't think he's aware, as shown when Raheem Sterling fingered him. I don't know why people don't like him. You know, you can say he's not my cup of tea, but you can't lie and say he never had a good season. I don't think much of him, like he's amazing in that, but I think he's a calm squad player. I think he's very vocal. I think he's better than people give him credit for, man. Obviously, the homegrown factor is calm, man. Holding and Marie back up. William Saliba and Gabriel. Centre-back position is tied unless we sell. Well, we do need to sell, but that's 4. I want 5 personally. But I do agree, man. We need to move people on because there's a lot. But personally, I need a centre-back, man. If we don't sign a centre-back, I don't think we're getting top 4. Personally. Right back to you. Morning, DG. Man, can't even say my own name. Did you see Fabrizio Romano mention Camavinga? I hope Arsenal get him. Bro, I can't do it with my heart, man. You know, I can rationalize it, say he's got a year left. He's refusing to sign a new deal. Arsenal's historic French ties with it and things like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. When you hear PSG, Real Madrid, these teams in for you, bro, do Arsenal have a chance? We could sell you the task of why you're going to be there. You're not going to get there now. Come play for us. And then it is what it is. I big up P1. It's this guy that I was talking about, Knof or something. I've been watching a bit of him. You know me, I'm terrible with names, man. I'm jealous of Aston Villa. Grealish, Buendia, McGinn, Mings, Cash, Martinez. I'm not jealous of Mings. I'm not jealous of Cash. Definitely jealous of Buendia, Grealish. I'm a big fan, as I always say, of McGinn. And, you know, Martinez should still be at this club. What's your opinion of Marco Reus, and do you think he had a large impact on youth's development? I'm sure if you spoke to 1-2 youth players that have been around him, he'd probably say he's been good for them, like any player would, like Lacazette, like some of these young strikers at Arsenal would say about Lacazette. I like Reus. It's a shame that he's had a number of injuries in his career. He's still had a good career, but it's robbed him, man. It's robbed him. I don't know either, man. This is what I'm saying. I've been saying that, Jingo, you know. Mets, I swear that's what when Sadio Mane was leaving Senegal to make his first insteps into Europe, he was at Mets. I'm with that, you know. You stop that. You get him before he goes to other places and do anything. We need to see these players. But you need to see someone like Mo Salah when he's just left Egypt and gone to Basel. You need to see that that's going to be the guy that's going to do the madness he's done at Liverpool before that. You need to go to Poland and see Lewandowski before he even knows he's Lewandowski. Do you get it? You need to know you need to be on to Haaland, because Haaland was on the scene for a minute. You know, he was it weren't like he did pop up. You know, the under-20s World Cup for me, it improved. It kind of improved his stature, but he was there. So you got to kind of move. What's all this Ming slander? I don't get it. Personally, I feel he walks into our side. I mean, many players walk into our side. I don't know where you saw slander. Just saying you don't feel a player is not slander. I don't like Tyrone Mings. I think he's competent. I think he's all right. I just don't think he's good. And Arsenal have poor defenders already. You know, he's by default he's better, but he's dead. I don't think he's better than Gabriel. I wouldn't play him on the left-hand side ahead of Gabriel. I'm not prepared to, while he might be ahead of Saliba and clearly more experienced, I wouldn't be prepared to kill Saliba's game time to play Mings. He's a competent defender. He's just not my cup of tea, man. You're gonna have to salute me or shoot me for that one. But on that note, he had a good game yesterday. Double the likes, people. What's been going on? Where are we at? We're at 164. We're moving closer. We're moving closer, slowly but surely, slow and steady. Finna win that race. Very mid. And there's nothing wrong with being mid. You can be a decent player, but I just think it's just that's it, innit? We're just speaking about centre halves and needing to move people on. You know, if we're gonna bring in a centre half, I want better than what we have. Evidently better than what we have. Not you're better than him. You're this and that. Means better, not better than Marie. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've seen more of Mings. I think people overrate Marie greatly, but I like Marie as well. Even that, Marie, I like him, but he's someone realistically, he's someone that could be moved on very quickly if you're going to bring in if you're going to really do this centre half thing based on the links. He's someone that potentially could be moved on. Even though I'm not saying that, I'm just saying he's barely played, sort of thing. Moving on with some of these newspaper links and all of these sort of things, people. Let me carry on. Let's look at what VINAI has or said. VINAI, pardon me, has or hasn't said, because I'm aware of we've been doing a lot of talking and enjoying, but not actually looking at this. Where is it? Oh, I don't do this. What's going on? Oh yeah, we've got it. So yeah, people, if I share my screen with you lot, I don't think that's true. Mings isn't scared to defend. That's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh. I just think he's meaty with the ball at his feet. I think he does read the game well, but then he does suspect moments. But VINAI has said VINAI Venkatesham claims he was in the dark over the Super League, people. Sources say that Arsenal chief executive VINAI, who called the other 14 Premier League clubs to apologise for the Gunners' role in the Doom project, also suggested he'd been left in the dark over the plans in the US-led operation. I'm going to stop right there, people, because that tells me what I already think. Like, listen, we already saw, speaking purely from an Arsenal perspective, I can't speak for no other club. VINAI, Josh Kroenke, you know, these guys are just pawns in Stan Kroenke's business, because again, as I told you lot then, he threw his son to the wolves to face the music and get wrapped up by fans in the fan meetings and stuff. VINAI's had to do apologizing, had to resign from roles and things. And don't get it twisted, you know the job you're doing. You lot knew about this, in my opinion, but that's what I meant by when we spoke about this when it first happened, and that, you know, Stan Kroenke just throwing these lot to the wind, because at the end of the day, it's all Kroenke. But when these lot speak to fans or these are in the public eye, this is the only place to vent. These are the only guys to vent your frustrations out on, you know. It's like when you go to a shop and something's gone wrong, you know, it's not necessarily the customer service operative that you're asking for help's fault. It's the organization, but he's the guy, he or she's the one that's going to face the brunt of it. I don't think he was kept in the dark. I think, you know, he was kind of indirectly told the plans, and we all have a choice whether we resign or not. I understand people have to make money. People got jobs. So you did it, innit? And it was a tough week. If you was kept in the dark, then it further tells you what it is, in that you tell us on the face of it, everything's a collaborative thing, but it's not. It's a dictatorship by the owner. And it also tells us that we want to be rewarded for sporting excellence while we remain mediocre. We don't want rewards for our hard work. We thought assurances should be given to this football club because of what we used to be. So apparently Arsenal, however, say he was merely pointing out the club were not the drivers or the authors of the botch scheme. Well, then, you know, like your mum, like our parents always told us, or your mum tells you, if your friends jump off a cliff, you're going to join them. Stop following your friends and get your own brain. That makes me lose respect for Arsenal more, because you're just following other people. Then you're not being brave and being yourselves and all of those sort of things, people. Scrolling up though, because that was the second part. Allegedly, Arsenal supporters left furious at season ticket prices freeze with no European football next season. Scrolling down, there's not been much for Arsenal fans to celebrate in recent times, so the promise of a price freeze on season ticket provided much needed cheer. But at first glance, the Gunners appear to have honoured the promise. Supporters have been left fuming. They point out that while prices remain the same, the lack of European football means they will get 21 games, 19 league matches and 2 FA Cup ties, as opposed to the 26 they're guaranteed when the team were good enough to qualify for the continental competition. I look at them sly little digs there. It's over £1,000 for 21 games, which doesn't sound like a price freeze to me. Fact, apparently Arsenal say that because Europa League matches were at a lower end of the price structure, they are right to say prices have been frozen. So again, lying to fans, giving with one hand, acting like you're giving with one hand, taking with the other, and leveraging this club and the sport we love to just, you know, take the piss out of fans. It's as simple as that. It's an absolute joke. Less said on that, the better. And I have sympathy with everyone, man. What have we got here? Let's say 43-30 claims left in dark about Super League. Yeah, you have that, people. What are you lot saying in the comments, man? Mugged off again. Still the highest prices in the world. They should have made VINAI and the Gunnosaurus switch jobs. I've got no sympathy for VINAI or anyone else. He's literally nicking a living. Arsenal need a proper structure in terms of their scouting and also contract negotiations. Contract negotiations take too long for this club. Locked in from Antigua. Big up all the Caribbeans everywhere. Shout out to you, Kevin, and the rest of the Antiguans. And you're right, man. We need a proper structure. And I'd go with the only thing I would say on what you said in everything, man. Every walk of the business, because you have to wonder the processes aren't right, man. The processes from everything are not right, man, from start to finish. So you're right, man. Good, interesting comments. S is saying 347 in here, only 161 likes. Come on, should be at least 2/5. Keep pushing that one. Man said his smile is so annoying. I get that with VINAI as well, man, but it's dead, it's dead, it's dead. DG, nothing is happening behind the scenes. It's just usual trick chat, edu, jet skiing, bro. Same old, same old. They cannot negotiate. Is what it is. To be fair, you can be on holiday and get transfers done, but you know, maybe not at Arsenal. So for salesman VINAI, harsh, harsh. I agree it's the Cronkies, but these guys are the mouthpieces for the Cronkies and still get no love. 100%. It's as though Arsenal have a very fragile transfer plan. It's as though the targets are desires and not needs must. Facts. It's absolutely crazy, man. Upsetting me hearing you lot say a bunch of this stuff, man. Let me take my hay fever tablet because I can feel the pollen starting to mess with guys. So yeah, man, that's that. Let's look at the Berardi lies. You know, we've been linked with Berardi. Let's see Berardi. Apologies to my Italian ones, but you know we ain't getting him. But man, we could dream. We can dream, we can dream, we can dream. And he's been on the scene for a while. He's probably not kicked on as much as we thought. Like Matt has said, hit the like button. Matt, you're in every live stream. I appreciate it. Let's see what this is saying. After the no to Juventus and Inter, Domenico is ready for an experience away from Sassuolo. He got off to a great start with Italy. There were no shortage of fans. To be honest with you, he's been on the scene for a while. I can see, away from injuries, I can see why he didn't hit the heights. I think he's a good player, but I wouldn't want it, because if we are to spend 50 million euros, I think we've got to look at spending that on a right back, a midfielder, or centre half way before this. And if we are going to do it, I want them to be evidently better. You know, I like Berardi, but do I want to play him at the expense of Pepe, Martinelli, Saka? No. For me, you bring in people that are abundantly better. And I just think he's incredibly frustrating. And at 26, like even against Turkey, bro, we weren't that good, you know. Even the own goal is accidental. He's picked out the wrong decision. His decision making ain't quite to the level I'd expect, and it can be quite frustrating. People apparently Sassuolo have set an important price, and apparently he's considered a star with a good season, given that he is especially intriguing the Premier League, and he's also the highest paid player in the squad with a 2.5 million net contract until 2024. The armor is, in fact, let's add that price in this year of crisis, intimidates fans who are hoping for a discount to sink the blows. Again, Google Translate. His talent has always attracted the greats of our league, but his no to Juventus and in spite of himself to Inter, the team he cheered for as a boy, are now historic. However, Berardi has driven away his fears and feels ready for a big leap. He no longer needs the black-green shell, which is the Sassuolo kit. You know, if we're going to buy anyone for Sassuolo, it has to be Locatelli. And do they want to lose Berardi and Locatelli in the same window? Who knows, people? Of course, he is fond of the world in which he trained, but he does not feel bound to finish his career there. Moving over, he grabbed 17 goals, people. Apparently, he's big. Well, I'm not going to bore you lot, people, but apparently he's in link with Milan. Where's the Arsenal link? So again, it did say Arsenal, but apart from that, it just seems like it's absolute nonsense. As you lot can see there, that one there is going to be done. We've already spoke about VINAI. Don't know why that one was there, but here's what it is. Slap that up there. What else is there? Move. What's going on here? Apparently, people, if you lot remember, a guy I've done an interview with, apparently Millwall rejects Swansea approach for England, for Arsenal and Rangers target ABDULMALIK. You know, very good young player at Millwall. good, but good ability to use both feet. Very good player. I like him a lot. Good mentality as well. I'll take him at Arsenal. I don't know if Arsenal's the best place for his development for a young 18-year-old, 17, 18-year-old now with all the strikers on our wage books, but it could be worth it. Sorry, people. So yeah, like I was saying, I like him, man. He's done a lot of bit. Millwall got a couple good players, and obviously I'm not fond of the club Millwall for how they move, so I'm all for taking their players. They got one young striker that's allegedly chosen Chelsea ahead of us. So yeah, man, I'm on going to these Cat 2, Cat 3 clubs and picking on their best talents and things. Swansea would have been a great place off the field, effort to do, but it would have been a great place to develop. And he's linked with Arsenal, Rangers. He's going to have a good future. In the last year or so, he's finally been getting recognition on the English scene. The 18-year-old's a very good player. Apparently, he's been offered a pro deal. His contract expires at the end of the month, so there would be some sort of compensation package due to Millwall, which might make people step away from it because they'll be due a training fee. But I'd be on that free transfer. It can't be any worse. 18 years of age. I think he's got a lot of talent. He can play in a number of roles as well. Swansea have made an approach for Millwall's under 17 prospect ABDULMALIK. They've had it rejected. They've made their first move for a player who's been watched by Arsenal and Rangers allegedly, and he's probably got a bunch of other interests. Don't know why the newspaper article is like this, but apparently his contract expires at the end of this month. Millwall confirmed when announcing their retained list last month that they've offered him a deal. So they will be due compensation, people. But as you can see here, if a deal cannot be agreed with one of his suitors, Millwall face losing him for a minimal sum in training compensation if a tribunal is required to find the resolution. And considering he has not made an appearance at first team level, it would be minimum, which couldn't, if he develops at one club to the first team, great. But if not, you've got a player. And like I said, he's got a good mentality, man. Do you know how many times he's dealt with setbacks and he's got on? Like I really like his attitude, man. And Abdul, if you can see this, we're gonna need another DG interview this year. But yeah, come to Arsenal if that's the thing, man. If you want to, come join us, man. Join us. What's this? As you lot can tell, people, Arsenal's transfers have been poor, and if we scroll down, we could probably see the scale of it, people. If we was to look at it, and this probably highlights the practices we need to change. Because look, if you go down in this article, people, it's pretty damning. If we're meant to be self-financing, buying cheaply and selling big is another thing, but we also need to make sure our academy players. And this tells me that this is, and there's been other people now. There's just been mismanagement. And again, Kroenke is just running a joke of a club, people. We're unable to sell players for anything. Excluding free agents, Arsenal have signed 30 players since 2013, but I've never made a profit on a single one of them. The last player to sign and be sold on for more money that they paid was Olivier Giroud, who was originally bought in 2012. So it is what it is, people. I don't know if that's actually true, though. The Frenchman joined Chelsea in a deal worth 18 million, doubled the amount Arsenal forked out. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was one of the last players to be sold for a profit when he joined Liverpool for 35 million, a 20 million sale up front from the 15 spent in 2011 from Southampton. But that's as far as it goes, with the likes of Lucas Perez, Gabriel Palista, and Lucas Podolski all departing for pennies. Let's scroll down. Granit Xhaka appears to be the latest, who signed for 40 million. Well, we hear 30 million euros. And he seems to be on the brink of completing a 17 to 19 million euro move to AS Roma. Now, obviously, we've got to consider certain man have 2 years left. And like it says here, the man's 29, but there's no smoke without fire. For me, I only need to think of 3 players. We should have had 100 million for Alexis Sanchez and Aaron Ramsey. You should have got a respectable sum for Gnabry. Suddenly, that should be about 120. Benatia, you should have got something from. Again, we can't go back. Marlon can't go back in time. All it should be, that should make you lot sick, and you lot should want, when the equivalent time passes, that you've now had 30 players sold and made more profit on. That's what I would like to see. But whether that will happen is a completely different matter. So let's see. But that's a big reason as to why we're here. Until we can improve at selling players, we can't go anywhere, man. Iwobi wasn't bought. We did make a profit on Iwobi, but we didn't buy him. It's absolute it's atrocious, man. It's absolutely appalling if I'm 100% honest with you guys, man. We are the only club that can now only compete for free transfers and low wages. I'm not too sure that is true, but fair play. E.g., will the hold up in Xhaka to Roma deal delay us getting a replacement? Not logically, it shouldn't, but you'd imagine if one has to go before one can be brought in, then logically, yeah, my guy. When will Xhaka be announced after the Euros? Probably, or hopefully midway through it. You know, sooner the better for me. Casper Schmeichel deserves a lot of praise. I've already spoke about Coutinho. Please scroll back. Good player for what it's worth, though. As I said, people, I got to be shameless and keep reminding you lot. Please make sure you're here for Scotland versus the Czech Republic, my watch along. And then I'll obviously be here later today for Spain against Sweden, people. Make sure you're here for that one also. Shout out to everyone who has set a reminder. Can't imagine you haven't because there's not a single like. Let's try to refresh the Scotland one. Has the like? Have you lot actually been doing that? So no one's been doing that, but fair play. I hope you're all there for that one anyways, people. But what else have we got? If the takeover bid accepted, you would know because we'd be talking about it. So I'd have to say no. Why do the Kroenke still own Arsenal if they don't put any money in and still won't sell to Eck? So what's the point? You'd have to ask them. They're the ones that own the club, man. I personally think Arsenal shouldn't even be targeting a winger, which probably means we are going to bring in a winger CFC. That's arguably your strongest position. Right back, back up, left back, and a creative mid is needed. Can't add anything because you've said it. Spurs are making a move for Marcus Thuram for 30 million. This is the type of signing we should be after. I think that's one of them where he's a good player, but we're just moaning for the sake of it because it's not an area we need. In hindsight, he might go off to be a bad boy, but only Arsenal spend money on players and never make it back. To be fair, transfers are a losing game, innit? You do lose money, but it's just some better than others. We won't sign anyone until after the Euros. Hopefully not, but probably, my guy, sadly. Let me scroll all the way up. I know some of your comments were lost. It's absolute madness. Where are we? What's this? So we spoke on that. Any transfer? It's a very slow day in terms of transfers, isn't it, people? Bloody hell. Very slow day, but we keep moving, we keep progressing. Last article to go through, though, folks. Last article to go through. Let me share my screen. There we have it. Now, again, in terms of selling before we can buy, apparently Newcastle boss Steve Bruce to get 50 million transfer war chest with Arsenal's Joe Willock and Liverpool's Nat Phillips. I mean, 50 million war chest is hardly a war chest, man. Newcastle boss Steve Bruce will be given 50 million transfer war chest by owner Mike Ashley as a reward for keeping the club safe. Now, you'd imagine they need a lot more than that, but if you've got 50 million, do you really want to spend 30 of it on Joe Willock? I'm sure Steve Bruce, he might say, I might need a left back, a right back, a this, that, and the other, where obviously it has problems. Even if it's 25, that's half of the stack gone. I don't know how much Phillips is going to cost. Maybe, a 10 or something from Liverpool. So they're going to be in problems. I don't know how this is a war chest, but boy, I don't know who Newcastle could sell before they could buy because I don't imagine they're trying to sell Saint Maximin. He makes them stronger. Arsenal ace Joe Willock is bound to be among the targets after a sensational loan deal, but may cost £30 million. Willock stood out last season at St James's Park. He amassed 8 goals in 14 appearances across all comps. So look at, like I said, they ain't even read this. Phillips will probably cost 10. If I've got 50 million, 40 of it on Phillips and Joe Willock if I've just about stayed in the league. Shout out to Phillips, shout out to Joe, but not really the best of wages. I'd probably push for Joe again on loan and hope Joe forces his hand from an Arsenal perspective. Probably grab Nat Phillips for 10 million or try to do a 7.55 million. Maybe even try and get it both of them on loan again, really, and then use that 50 million for something else. I don't know, people. Burnley tried to take Phillips on loan and may try to sign him as well, people. So, again, I guess our transfers are kind of relying or hinging on the fact of what we can do in terms of moving on Torreira, who's linked with a new club every day. Fiorentina, the latest. Guendouzi seems to more or less be a Marseille player, as does Xhaka, where Roma's concerned. But at the end of the day, until they're holding the shirts and all of those sort of things, it's still, nothing can be said really. So that's the latest on Joe Willock and them things there. But one has to see. I don't know if I had 50 million, if I would be spending 30 of it, 40 of it on Phillips and Joe. I don't know if that's going to keep me in the league. Onana has been advised not to join Arsenal, man. I don't care what Wesley Sneijder said. Fair play, he's allowed to say what he wants. I don't care what Wesley Sneijder has said, man. What do you think about Arsenal not budging on the Xhaka price to Roma? Do you think Arsenal should take the money being offered? Well, I don't. I think Arsenal win their rights to command more money. It's standard business, and I do think they will come to an agreement. Still no backup left back rumours or links to my knowledge. No, hopefully we get that, man. Oh, mad weird war chest, man. EG, what's your thoughts on selling every over 25 who isn't Pepe and also Ivan Toney to Arsenal? I think it would be idiotic to sell every player over 25 because you need some experience. Not that I don't think there's many in our squad in that regards. What, Leno, technically Xhaka, Partey. Cedric just about. Aubameyang, Lacazette, of course. No. The 20 million for Martinez fell out the sky, and like Alex Song, I do get it, but still we need to do better. Trust, we did do well for Martinez, but like you said, it fell out the sky, accidental one. We didn't know that was gonna happen. That was circumstantial, and obviously it banged for us. Marie as well is another one. If any player linked with Arsenal has Kaya Jarupkin as their agent, we're doomed next season. Not to be fair, he's got some great clients. It's just you need big money or you need to do serious things if you want serious players, man. Do we go for an experienced right centre-back with over 30 years or spend on Ben White and expect rookie mistakes? To be fair to you, mistakes are going to happen. We've had, David Luiz, Socrates, Marie's even made a couple mistakes, and they've not been held upon. It doesn't really matter, but I do get you, you would have to expect mistakes from a 23-year-old Ben White at times. There is some truth to that. I mean, you've got DePaul, you've got Cooper Miners, you've got several players that could slot into Jack. I wouldn't mind being linked with Ruben Neves like we are. I wouldn't mind him arriving to the club like allegedly he has been. So I'd be all for them sort of ones there, if I'm completely honest with you. Morning to you, Jay. Hope you're doing well and safe, man. Would it be better to go for Kessie over Neves as a Xhaka replacement? Neves is probably a better ball player, so not directly, but I would love Kessie Neil because obviously he'll give us some steel in the midfield and he can pass the ball forward, man. Good player in that regards, but we're not getting none of them, man, there because they're highly sought after players or players that people don't want to sell, and that sounds stupid, but people don't want to sell players. You have to make people available. Really nothing. We're not even being, at least we used to be linked with some ridiculous names last week. The names seem to have dried up. If we get DePaul, Locatelli, Awawa, Coop Miners, Ramsey back, we're getting hella players based on all these links, man. Basuma or Neves, who would you pick? Two different players that would fix two different roles. I'd be happy with either, man. Our fans talk about his mistakes, Gabriel's mistakes all the time. I don't think you can not speak about Gabriel's mistakes because he's a young man. I get that standards are lower with no Europe, but Neves is the sort of standard I'd want as a backup. Maybe I'm asking for too much. I think you are as well, Peter, man. I think you are as well. Shout out to you, my dude, man. What's up, my guy? Hope you're well and safe. Right, Bryson isn't happy. Doesn't matter who we get when the coaching staff is poor. What you see is what you get. No improvements on Leno, Xhaka, Aubameyang, and Laka over the years. Can Arsenal afford Ramsey's on 400k per week at Juventus? Probably not, and rightly so, because again, he's not justifying them wages. His agent has played a blinder. AC Milan offered Kessie for Torreira a couple years ago. Do you reckon him plus cash could seal the deal? In theory, it might be able to, but I haven't seen that link before. I can't verify it. That anyways, man. I think they'd be shortchanging themselves. We'd be getting the better end of the deal if that was us. Boy. Some of you have some very pessimistic comments, but I can't blame you lot, man. We're linked with a new player every day. Next week, we'll probably be linked to my postman's, nan's, doctor's, personal bodyguard's cat. Probably, man. Ramsey's too injury prone, too inconsistent, man. I mean, very few players are better to learn from than Cesc Fabregas or whatever. But, I don't want him to just come back because you're Cesc. If you want to be a manager or a coach, then come back. Do you think Nelson could be a baller? I mean, yeah. He just needs to go play, needs some confidence, probably needs to get out of this Arsenal situation and depart for pastures new because, again, minutes are currency. The man's not playing. Like, it's as simple as that. You don't play, you don't improve. But yeah, man, on that note, I've been here for over an hour, people. I'm going to be back in just over an hour or so for Scotland versus Czech Republic. It's lunchtime, man. I'm getting hungry, so I'm going to eat. Please make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. Information for the next live stuff is there. So yeah, man, I'm going to have to love or leave you lot, man. Pardon me. Funny how they say transfers this season will be under the radar. Probably will be, but we'll have to see, man. Nothing's under the radar at this moment in time. But like I said, I'm going to be back soon, man. Big up everyone that was locked in. Hit the like button. God bless.